Well, text keep dropping. Blake Lively has dropped new evidence in text messages that she believes proves her smear campaign. Could this be her smoking gun? We've got some new spin-offs coming. Cardi B is pregnant, and Charlie Kirk's shooter, Tyler Robinson. We have some new text messages from him and his boyfriend that have also leaked, and the internet isn't sure we believe them. We'll get into it. I hope you're ready for it. Let's dive in. You're listening to No Filter with Zack Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, served fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. What's up, everybody? Welcome on in, everybody in the club. How's everybody doing? What's up? Just a reminder, guys, I'm going to be on a juicy scoop this week, so be sure to subscribe to Heather McDonald's Juicy Scoop and get ready because I will be on. We have lots that we'll get into, probably all the Housewives stuff, Real Houses of Orange County, Real Houses of Salt Lake City, the Blake Lively, Taylor Swift drama, all of that. It's always a good time when I do Heather's show, so be sure to tune in. It's going to be fun. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your week. Hopefully your week is off to a great start. Happy hump day. Like I always say, I hope you get hump today. Okay. What do we want to start with? So I guess Cardi B is pregnant. She's expecting her fourth child. This is happening with her boyfriend, Stefan Diggs. She revealed this, I believe it was on GMA, Good Morning America. She was doing an interview, and obviously she's celebrating the lawsuit against her that was dismissed. She did not have to pay that out. She did not, I guess the jury found that she did not beat up or what did she say? Slash the bodyguard at her OBGYN's office. That did not happen. They got into a verbal altercation, but not a physical altercation. That was a funny trial. Like, we had so many. I wish it was longer because Cardi B's testimony was just hilarious. And I think these are fun when we actually get to watch them. I think the Blake Lively trial would have been so good and so juicy and so yummy. But of course, I don't think we're going to be getting that. Is a bummer. But we do have Bravo's announced a new Summer House spinoff that'll be coming soon. If you are a fan of Bravo and Summer House, obviously we know Paige DeSorbo left the show, and people are like, well, what's going to happen? Lindsay now has a baby, and Kyle and Amanda are married, but they kind of are Summer House. Well, Lindsay Hubbard, Kyle and Amanda, and Andrea, he's making a comeback to the Summer House world. And so they're going to do, I believe I don't know if there's an official name, but it looks like it might be called In the City. And it's a spinoff of Summer House that takes place during the week when they're not filming in the Summer House. So it'll follow their lives. And I guess this next chapter of their lives, similar to like The Valley, where The Valley was like the spinoff of Vanderpump Rules, and it took some of their lives and followed them in the next chapter of their life. So it kind of feels like that's what we're going for, like The Valley, but on the East Coast with the Summer House peeps. I believe that's also what the Shahs of Sunset reboot is called. I think it's called The Valley Persian Style, or at least that was the working title that Bravo was looking to use, and it was going to be MJ, Gigi, and Reza from the original Shahs of Sunset show. So it looks like they're kind of like restructure and reboot these shows in a way. I think MTV did a really good job with that with like the Teen Mom franchise. They had Teen Mom, and then they had Teen Mom OGs, and then Teen Mom Next Chapter. And so they just kind of kept merging and putting together other stars in the Teen Mom franchise. Teen Mom Family Vacation. The Jersey Shore did that with Jersey Shore Family Vacation. So it seems like that is a growing trend in recycling old talent, but like kind of revamping things to make them feel fresh. We got a new episode of Real Houses of Salt Lake City. Season 6 has officially kicked off. They went on a camping trip. It was fun. It was kind of funky. I mean, we had some practical jokes, some pranks, some levity. I thought it was cute. I thought it was fine. Yeah, I mean, we got some classic Mary digs. We got some shade thrown at Britney. We have Lisa Barlow's legal drama that was put on full display. So not a bad start to the season. I always give the first episode of the season a little bit of grace unless there's some like big jarring bombshell. But even then, we usually have to wait until the finale to get whatever that bombshell is. So it was a good start. We didn't get Lisa Barlow. I think we got a FaceTime with her. I'm wondering if I feel like there were rumblings that there was maybe like a contract dispute or she hadn't fully signed on for the new season yet and she wasn't sure if she was going to. Well, it looks like eventually she does, and it's all good. Real Houses of Orange County had a new episode that dropped where the girls went on a trip. I believe Emily and Gretchen went with Heather to Beverly Hills, and then the other women, Tamara, Shannon, Jen, they all went to Sonoma. They got like a house in Sonoma and went wine tasting. Gina was there too. And so that kind of seemed like a good opportunity for Tamara to make amends with everybody. Seems like she's kind of moving forward with everyone, with the exception for Shannon. Shannon doesn't really want to give her any grace. And I'm also just like, what happened? Like Shannon got a facelift last season and she was looking so good. And then like the facelift like went away. Like she finally had to pay for the facelift and it didn't even last. Like the face stopped lifting. I was very confused by that. She looked like she was really having like a solid glow up moment last season. And then now it just feels like the facelift came undone, like the threads came unattached. Whatever. We'll see what happens there with OC. I don't miss Katie Janela. I'll tell you that. The last 2 episodes, her absence isn't really felt. And I think it's because she doesn't have like a strong presence on the show. So kind of makes sense that she's not really there. But I don't know. We'll see. Laura says we need another Housewives of London. It was my favorite. They have another Housewives of London, but I think it's going to be on Hayu. It's not a US. Well, Bravo is bringing Ladies of London. I believe that's being rebooted. When Cardi was a stripper, she started investing in property so she would be set for life, and then she became a rapper. Good for her, you know? Good for her. Okay, so that's Cardi B. That's Summer House. That's Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Real Housewives of Orange County. I believe the reunion's going to be filming soon. We got a teaser for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. It was like Rachel Zoe, and it was just kind of like a couple of quotes from Rachel, and it just like said Beverly Hills coming soon. So I imagine we're probably going to get a trailer for that soon. We got a trailer for season 3 of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. It doesn't really tell us anything. It doesn't really show us anything. We just know there's a big scandal that's going to rock Mom Talk. But I'm like, yeah, we get that every season. A big scandal. Can Mom Talk survive this? Spoiler alert, Mom Talk always survives it. So I don't think Mom Talk is not going to survive this. I think Mom Talk will survive this too. They all showed up to support Whitney and Jen. So I thought that was really nice. I mean, it's clear that they're all at least in communication, even if they are kind of fighting. So Dancing with the Stars kicked off with the new season last night. All seemed to be good in the neighborhood. My friend Donna Bowling was there. She took her friend Molly Dare. I was jealous, but not really, because Molly's like her bestie, and like Molly looks so hot, and so did Donna. So I was like, okay, fine. You guys at least look good and had fun. And yeah, I think it was exciting to see all the behind the scenes stories that Donna was posting. So yeah. Laura says, right, stop with the Mom Talk scandals. Just film friendships. Yeah, at this point, you know, so much. Will Mom Talk survive this? Will Mom Talk survive that? Mom Talk always survives everything. Okay. Stop trying to say that Mom Talk is not going to survive this, because Mom Talk always survives. I will survive. I will not hide. So, speaking of Jen Affleck, I don't know if you guys caught it. She did a really funny commercial with Ben Affleck. It was a Dunkin' Donuts commercial, which I thought was really interesting because Ben Affleck, if you see all these paparazzi photos of him, he's always like out and about, looking disheveled, smoking a cigarette, and he has a Dunkin' Donuts coffee in hand. So I feel like it was really fun of them to lean into the Ben Affleck of it all, because he's obviously a really prominent Dunkin' frequenter. He's a frequent flyer of Dunkin' Donuts. And then Jen Affleck, I thought was a really cute addition, because she obviously, for those that watch Secret Lives of Mormon Wives on Hulu, Jen Affleck was like under fire because her husband, Zack Affleck, his family told Jen when she married into the family that they were related to Ben Affleck. And so even in season 1 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I don't know if you caught this, but every time the lower thirds came on and they would say the woman's name and her age, they would always name the other women Macy, Whitney, Taylor, like just by the first name. But every time Jen Affleck came on screen, it always said Jen Affleck. Like they really wanted to hone that in, the producers. And then eventually it came out in season 2 that they weren't actually cousins with Ben Affleck. And she's like, well, that's what his family told me. And he was like, well, that's not true. They were just joking. And I don't think the joke registered to her. So she like kind of ran with it. And I didn't think she realized the world was going to run with it. And then the press was like, is she really related to Ben Affleck? And they did like the whole genealogy thing. And it was just like a whole thing, right? But the commercial was fun. It was funny. It's like a barista. And he's just like, Affleck. And I was like, isn't that the insurance commercial? Affleck. And then Jen pops up and she's like, oh, were you expecting my cousin, Ben Affleck? And she's like, he's the irrelevant Affleck. He's the old Affleck. And then Ben Affleck rolls up and he's just like, I'm a very normal, what is he, 51 or something? He's like, I'm a very normal 51. And she's like, yeah, but look at all his grays. And so it was like a cute, cheeky moment with the two of them. I don't think they interacted. Oh yeah, Jen said that she was the value Affleck and he was the old Affleck. So it's cute. It's funny. To me, this felt like a really good Super Bowl ad. And I'm bummed that Duncan didn't save this ad for the Super Bowl. But I guess I feel like Super Bowl ads have really kind of lost their luster. Like I feel like the bar has been set so high for Super Bowl ads to really knock it out of the park. And we get a lot of like celebrity cameos in them. But it just, I feel like the commercials don't really, they're not what they used to be, where everyone would watch solely for the commercials and they would go on YouTube and rewatch the commercials over and over. And now I just feel like we're out of that era. And last year's Super Bowl, or not last year, I guess 2025, even though I know now we're approaching 2026 Super Bowl, but the 2025 Super Bowl, all of that was just like a total flop. The game was a total flop. The We Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar, like that, just, it didn't slap. Sorry. Joy says the Super Bowl ads were hysterical in the 90s. I mean, they were even funny in the 2000s. That was, again, peak pop culture. I remember being in high school and one of our algebra teachers, he would always, algebra calculus, I don't know, he was like a math teacher. And so he was always, we would have like a day after the Super Bowl where he would just, in class, we would have a moment where we would rewatch the best Super Bowl ads in class. And that was really fun. But yeah, I feel like they've absolutely kind of lost their luster. But this ad I thought was really cute. It had star quality, star power. And it was really fun because it leaned into, I feel like there was a generational kind of gap here because it had the younger audience that obviously would watch Jen on Secret Lives and Mormon Wives, and then you had the older audience that are familiar with Ben Affleck, and then you have the two of them, the connection that ties them. I thought it was great. Good, very, very good. Okay. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll get into the Blake Lively text messages and the Charlie Kirk shooter text messages. But first, a quick message from this week's sponsors. You've probably seen a million ads for hair growth products and thought, sure, like that actually works. I did too, until I found out that Nutrafol isn't like the rest. If you're dealing with hair issues like thinning or shedding, but feel totally stuck on what to try next, I get it, which is why I'm telling you, Nutrafol is a great option. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. You can feel great about what you're putting into your body since Nutrafol hair growth supplements are backed by peer-reviewed studies and NSF content certified. Okay, that's the gold standard in third-party certification for supplements. See thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and use the promo code NOFILTER. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol, Nutrafol.com, promo code NOFILTER. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code NOFILTER. Fall always feels like a reset, am I right? Between back to school, busier routines, shorter days, finding time to cook can be tough, right? That's why I love Factor. Their chef-prepped, dietitian-approved meals make it easy to stay on track and enjoy something comforting and delicious, no matter how hectic the season can get. You can choose from a wider selection of weekly meal options, including premium seafood choices like salmon and shrimp at no extra cost, and they can help you stay on track with your goals. So whether that's a GLP-1 friendly meal or a Mediterranean diet option, they have both. Or like for me, I'm trying to pack in my protein and hit those macros, and now I can rely on Factor. It's so hard going from, podcast taping to event and walking the dogs, and I'm constantly on the go. So sometimes the last thing I want to do is come home and cook. So I like that I can just go into my fridge, get out a Factor meal, pop it in the microwave, and boom, It's ready in just a couple minutes, and it's delicious, and I can still track my macros, stay on track, get those fitness goals in. So if you want to try Factor, you can eat smart at factormeals.com/nofilter50 off and use the code nofilter50 off to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's a whole year of free breakfast. That's code nofilter50 off, nofilter50 off at factormeals.com/nofilter50 off for 50% off your first box plus 1 year of free breakfast. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Alrighty. Okay, let's talk about Blake Lively. She's revealed some new text messages that she thinks are going to be just the bombshell that helps prove this alleged smear campaign, and their text messages between the Wayfair parties and Brian Friedman discussing the It Ends With lawsuit website that was built that shows like all of their is that what it's called? It Ends With Lawsuit, or the lawsuitinfo.com is what it was called. The lawsuitinfo.com. And so Blake has given us her big smoking gun, and that is this list of text messages that she recovered from the Wayfair parties, which I guess we can go through them right now. Because this is it. This is the bombshell evidence that we have been waiting for, guys. We've been waiting for this very moment where Blake Lively is able to convince us that there was a smear campaign. So it's their text exchanges between the people in the Wayfair parties that are putting together this website. It says, "Hi, do you both want these PDFs on the website or just one?" Summer Benson responds, "Not sure what exactly Teresa sent over, but the website should include the amended complaint and the timeline. They were filed as 2 separate PDFs." And then, yes, that's what is there. Great, thank you. And then they showed the PDFs that were ultimately published on the website, which was the website that was published after Blake's amended complaint was released, and they showed all of the evidence that and the timeline of everything that really gets into the nitty-gritty on what is the Wayfair side of the story in comparison to Blake's side of the story. And obviously it makes Blake look very bad. Next question. When are we putting the website live? And so this was all in February. All of the documents would like to read the amended complaint and the timeline. And then Summer says, "So it matches the filing, amended complaint, and timeline of relevant events. Defer to the group, but I understand that it should go live." Okay, I just need someone who authorized whoever they may be to give us the green light to go live. Don't want to jump the gun. And then Teresa responds, "The website is just the PDFs, right?" And then the owner responds, "Yes, just the 2 PDFs. Can I get a link to see? And then we should be good to go." And then the owner says, "Just give me a few minutes, just adding the titles." "Standing by," Brian Friedman says. And then Jamie Heath says, "Can you send me the website and the password to look at, please?" And then the owner says, "Yes, I need like 30 minutes. We're setting back up in technology, and then also making sure that we have enough bandwidth, finalizing the edits, setting up a locked down Versal staging stance, and we're going to preview safely." Then they, I guess, give the preview page. "Sorry, that took longer than 3 minutes." And so this is the company, the Skyline agency that was hired to put together this website, which, I mean, to me, it didn't really seem like that advanced of a website. It was literally just 2 buttons that lead you to 2 different PDF documents. Jason Sunshine says, "That looks great, and it's all cloaked in the litigation privilege." Jamie says, "That's amazing, looks great, very clean, not flashy. It will be downloadable." The owner says, "Yes. Do you guys see all the pages?" Jamie says, only the first of each." Or, he said, "Okay." Then we get to Rosa sending a revised document that has 1 additional redaction. Okay. We missed the Daily Mail reporter again, Jason Sunshine says. And then Jamie Heath said a crying emoji. And then the owner responds, "No problem, just send it over." And then there's a voice note. We don't get to hear the voice note. "You guys already sharing it. Sending in 1 second, redaction in processing. And then there's another voice note. Processing. How should I send Rosa? Can you upload the same document, same Dropbox in a new folder or a new Dropbox link? Could you share the link? I can add. It's probably small enough to email since we reduced the PDF size." Yeah. And then we have Rose's email Said, okay, I'll email it. Email is easier. Stand by. Thank you. Is it just one of the PDFs, not both? Just one, I think. Let me confirm. Okay, timeline redacted correctly. Yes, please tell them that the use of the link to anything, it should be our website, and not to mention that came from the court records themselves. We have another voice note. Should we change the title that says timeline, the lawsuit info, timeline, amended complaint, and the timeline of relevant events? Uploaded the new document, should refresh in a few minutes. I prefer lawsuit info. What do you think? Jamie Heat says. Jen Abel says lawsuit info. Jason Sunshine says Rosa, the timeline is fine. And then Jason Sunshine says, yeah, lawsuit info. Owner says, okay, perfect. The lawsuit info. Then they give him the preview page again, updated the amended complaint with the new PDFs, and changed the title. Jamie Heath says, looks good to me. Unless anyone has any objections, I'm good to go. Jason says, when can we launch? Owner says, whenever you guys want. Jason says, what's the URL? Jamie Heath says, if legal says we're good to go, you have my approval. Jason says, these are filed documents and I don't see any risk whatsoever with posting them. Jason says, but the authority lies above my pay grade. Jamie says, great. We are not monetizing off of it. It's simply a landing page to have access to legal documents that are already public. So with that, let's go live. Needs approval from the terminator. Needs approval from the terminator. Sorry, left the question. I'm leaving off. I guess this is a joke from SR Inc. I guess the Skyline. There, they said it needs approval from the terminator, but then they forgot to put the question mark, and then they said, sorry, I left off the question mark. That's like leaving off the emoji of the face turned upside down like Blake Lively did. Jason said, we're nudging him. Michael Lawrence enters the chat and says, on page 154 of the timeline of relevant events, screenshot tag PR asked to swap due to Brat-inspired logo. Who can I send the correct one to? Jason says, not easy to swap images. Redacting something is different. We're like using file stamp copy of the document. Mitz joins the chat and says, FYI, Tara's name is included in the amended complaint in the Stephanie Jones text to Jen Abel. Big deal. She's the president of the studio, Jason says. Mitz says, I agree. Defer to Jamie if we should redact. Michael says, can we just cover off the green tag PR group name then and indicate that it's a team chat in another way? We removed that one a while ago. Not sure how it snuck back in. Jason says, just dealing with hundreds of images, definitely not on purpose. Brian Friedman says, let's launch this thing. It's not going to be perfect and we can make changes. Let's get it rolling. Jamie says, hey, all Jason, if we can redact Tara's name with no issue, then let's please do that. Otherwise, if it can't be and it's a problem, then we can leave it as is. I spoke to her and she understands and is fine, but if it's possible, let's do it if we can. Jason says, I will redact right now. Stand by, Rosa. Jason says, Michael, what page? Let me see what I can do. Owner says, just let me know what I need to update. Michael says, thank you. 154, just a black box over the green bubble is fine. Jason says, Jen, what page for Tara? Mitz says, somewhere around the time we bring on Nathan in the complaint. I don't know page number. I just saw a TikTok where she is mentioned. Jason says, oh, Mitz, sorry. For some reason, I thought it was Jen. Mitz says, all good. Do you need me to find it? Oh, you know, whereabouts it is. Jason says, helpful if you could find, waiting on the newly redacted timeline. And how many more fucking pages is this? Okay, so basically they're just going back and forth talking about this damn website. They're going back and forth, and let's do this. And then Brian Friedman comes in. He's like, we need to launch it. It's never going to be perfect. The next question is whether we can control the crash. If we can take a page out of TikTok. Brian says, it becomes genius. Jason says, 3 minutes and we'll be sending to Rosa. We get a voice note. Jamie says, what do you mean? The crash. What do you mean by take a page out of TikTok? One small step for mankind, one giant leap for being kind. Okay, Brian Freedom is so fucking all the extra sauce that he adds in his text messages. Jamie says, okay, cool. All right, well, it's good to go on my end. If we can get Tara's name redacted, it would be great. Otherwise, let's roll. Jen Abel says, can you please send the link here once live so we can share with the media? Jen Abel says, want to make sure to only send once live, so let us know. Owner says, are you still sending a new version? Rosa is sending. Done. Sent. Let's go. Nice work, team. Please send once live. We were also redacting 2 documents with the same images, so it might have happened on one and missed on the other. The human eye is definitely not perfect, even though we've had multiple eyes on it," says uh, Mitra. Now we have a Mitra in the mix. Nice. Waiting for the document to come through. You're going to send a doc, Rosa. So they're just going back and forth about the stupid website, which to me tells us nothing. And then they're like, what's the URL going to be? And owner says the lawsuitinfo.com. And Brian Friedman says it ends with truth.com. Brian said, I'm fine with either though. And owner says, we were told not to use it ends with truth because it's too close to the movie. Brian says, good point. Jason says, doesn't Wayfair own the copyright though? It's already the lawsuitinfo.com. Has been since the beginning. That's all set. Jamie, okay, it's really not that hard to get a new URL, FYI. Jamie says, let's go with the first place, lawsuit.com. It's less theatrical, but I love you, Brian. And then owner says, we can place a hold for that for something else. We can do that. Brian says, let's roll. Sprink says, the lawsuitinfo.com. Cannot change that now. Well, it could be, but would be another few steps. Okay, it's very easy to just add a new URL, but okay. And then they send it. Let's roll. Updated both docs. Are we ready to launch? Let's launch. Approved. Let's go. As Brian stated, it'll never be perfect, but it's close to it. Let's go live and share it with relevant ones. Rosa, I see that the URL has a longer copy. Will it be searchable or can we go straight to it just by putting the lawsuitinfo.com, or will it require actual URL that you just posted here? The URL posted here is just the staging link. It's not live. It's just for our review. The lawsuitinfo.com will be what we will use. It should be live in a few minutes. Thank you. Jen Abel says, confirming if it's live. Yes, we are live. The lawsuitinfo.com. And so they send it to the press and then they go back and forth. I mean, it's really just them talking about this damn website. And Blake thinks that because they launched this website, which again, were just publicly filed documents, that this is somehow the smoking gun that's going to prove everything. Like, this is it. Her case is solidified. SR is Street Relations, Jed. Oh, SR Inc. Got it. Street Relations. Got it, Jed. Makes sense. So they're all going back and forth. Elena says, I love Brian's vibe in this change. Stop the indecisive nonsense and let's do it. Yeah, he's just like, let's drive. Vroom, vroom. Kiki tweet says, what a smoking gun. Makes me think these boomer even more. I know. Danielle says, I swear people are so dumb these days. No offense, but if you don't know by now how incriminating text messages are today, then you deserve to have them exposed. Danielle, you always kind of come in here and you're always a little off topic. I should know better by now. She always has like an but I don't think these are incriminating text messages at all. They're literally just talking about the launch of the website, which to me, the website is nothing illegal. And it doesn't really tell me it's part of a smear campaign because it's just a consolidated access to these legal filings, which is exactly what Blake Lively did with the New York Times. She gave them the legal document and they made it available to download as a PDF on the New York Times website. So in this case, they just did the same thing. They took 2 legal filings, put them online. They're publicly accessible, but now it's just all in one place. Lisa R says, not incriminating at all. Elena says, yes, valuable lesson. Leave a voice message if you're in a controversial text chain. Yes, for sure. But like, there's literally nothing incriminating in here other than they launched a website. And I don't believe the website was intended to smear Blake Lively. It was intended to do what she did in the New York Times by publishing a legal document and making it publicly accessible, or making it more publicly accessible, easier to access publicly. Blake stays serving a big fat nothing burrito. Yep, basically. But pivoting over, we had a court hearing with Tyler Robinson, who's the alleged Charlie Kirk shooter. It is yet to officially be brought before a jury. He has yet to be convicted, but there are some charges that were announced this week in relation to Tyler Robinson, and they are pursuing the death penalty in this as well. Jeff Gray, who's the Utah district attorney, he announced these are the charges that he is being charged with. So we have count 1, which is aggravated murder, a capital offense. Count 2, felony discharge of a firearm. Count 3, obstruction of justice. Count 4, obstruction of justice again. Count 5, witness tampering. Count 6, witness tampering again. Count 7, violent offense in the presence of a child. And they are seeking the death penalty. So He is also, which I didn't know that this was a thing, but he's wearing a non-hanging garment. So I guess he can't like hang himself with this garment. I guess because you can't like pull out any strings, you can't like tie it up to like, um, swing yourself from the chandelier. If you pick up what I'm putting down, you can't like use anything to like wrap around his throat area and swing from the chandelier. Um, so yeah, those are the charges brought against him. And we have these text messages, and I'm very curious what you think of them because they are very suspicious to me. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. So these are text messages between Tyler Robinson and his alleged partner slash boyfriend slash girlfriend. So Tyler was, it seems, in a relationship with someone that was biologically male, but I believe is now in the process of transitioning to a woman. And so it's funny because I've seen so many like people that are really like left leaning commentators, and they're just like, well, this was a heterosexual relationship because he's technically, a straight man and he's in a relationship with a trans woman who's a woman. So it's a man in a relationship with a woman, and therefore this is a heterosexual relationship. And I was just kind of like, huh? It's always so confusing because I'm like, well, but so many terms, and what does queer mean? And, the non-binary, and what does it mean if you're dating somebody that's non-binary? Are you also in a heterosexual relation? Like, I don't know. It's just so many questions, right? So many questions to keep up with. Anyway, these are the text messages. We're going to go through them because they're a little suspicious to me. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Okay. Tyler Robinson writes to his girlfriend, boyfriend, uncertain because the transition also hasn't gone through. So I believe that they were in the process of transitioning. So Tyler and Boothing is what we're going to call it. Tyler and Boothing. Tyler says, I thought they caught the person. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Are these text messages out of order? The text messages were quite jarring to me, to be honest with you. He said, I thought they caught the person. Oh, sorry, these are from okay, so this is from the partner. The partner says, I thought they caught the person. And Tyler wrote, no, they grabbed some crazy old dude and then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from the drop point shortly after, but most of the side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. Why? Why did I do it? Yeah. This feels so passive. Like, think about it. If you just committed an assassination, like the tone of these text messages feels so like, did you do it? What did I kill him? Yeah, I did it. What do you mean? What did I do? I did. And then I went and I took the gun and I wrapped it in a blanket and I put it over here and I fed the baby a bottle and like it's a little too detailed. It's the tone of the conversation doesn't feel like two Gen Zers. It doesn't feel like these are young people that are sending this. And it's also like you're giving us all of the details. You're incriminating yourself by putting it in writing. Like, here's the thing. If one of my friends, my lovers, whoever said, "Hey," basically admitted, "I just did this," I would be like, literally, what the fuck? I would be like, "What? Call me, pick up the phone right now. What is going on?" Like, look at this text message where, Tyler's boo thing is like, "Why did you do it?" And Tyler responds, "Why did I do it?" And then the boo thing responds, "Yeah." And then Tyler says, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I'm going to be able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully, they have moved it. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. Oh, here's the first message when Tyler kind of first reveals that he did it. And then the boo thing says, what? You're joking, right? And Tyler says, I am still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in an Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can go home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this a secret till I die of old age. I am sorry to involve you. Like, what the fuck is this limerick? Like, why are we writing poems and text messages and using them as confessions? It's like, this is Usher. These are my confessions. Just when I thought all I said chick on the side says she got one on the way. And he said, you weren't the one that did it, right? And he said, I am. I'm sorry. He said, I thought they caught the person. And then that's where they have this message. And then he's like, no, they grabbed some crazy old man and then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from the drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. Why? Why did I do it? Yeah. And then he says, how long have you been planning this, my lover? And then Tyler responds, about over a week, I believe. Like, what the fuck? Over a week, I believe? Like, again, what is happening? I can get close to it, but there's a squad car parked right by it. I think they've already swept the spot, but I don't want to chance it. I was wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. Who said, like, what Gen Zer is like, I was waiting to get back to my vehicle? No, you don't call it your vehicle, you call it your car. I'm worried what my old man would do. Okay, what is this, 1970? My old man? Like, when do young people say my old man, my old pa? You know, my pa's rifle in the backyard. You know, buried by the potatoes. Like, I'm gonna go milk the cow now because that's the only way we get some milk because the milkman hasn't been by in decades. I'm worried what my old man will do if we don't bring back Grandpa's rifle. I don't know if it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about prints. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits, didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How the fuck will I explain losing it to my old man? One thing I left was the rifle, wrapped in a towel. Like, again, way too fucking detailed. Enrique says, what is a vehicle? I don't know what a vehicle is. All premeditated phony shit. Yeah, like something about it just feels off. And then Tyler writes, delete this exchange. Delete this exchange. You say delete the text messages, voice notes only. Like, I don't know. Like, what? Delete this exchange. My dad wants photos of the rifle. Okay. What dad is like, hey, I'm missing a rifle. Send me a photo of the rifle. Where is the rifle? Like, that also feels a bit off. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it's very unique. He's calling me right now, not answering. Since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. Okay, sure. You are all I'm worried about, my love. Like, what? When do they call them my love? Babe? Like, you would say babe. You wouldn't say my love. I would think, well, millennial vernacular would be babe. But, like, is a Gen Zer being like, I love you, my love. I only worry about you. Where art thou, Romeo? Like, what is going on here? And then Boothang responds, I'm much more worried about you. And then he says, Tyler responds, don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. Were you silent or were you silenced, Boothang? And then Tyler says, remember how I was engraving bullets on the bayou by the tree? The blank messages are mostly a big meme. If I see nice bulge UWU on Fox News, I might have a stroke, all right. I might have a stroke, all right. I'm going to have to leave it. That really effing sucks. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does fine. I don't know. I think that was a 2000 scope. Jane says, I'm 65 and wouldn't even say my love, right? Erica says, 22-year-olds do not say my love. My love, old man, I had to run to my vehicle. Like, what? Like, who wrote these? What boomer wrote these text messages and then thought we were going to buy this crock of shit? Mom Unscripted says, we're not buying it either, losers. Yeah. Cat says, not everyone is a generic Gen Z. If you go around cheating people, it sounds like you might not be living in the real world. Like I said, they created this weird us against the world thing. Yeah, I agree, but like it just feels so weird. Cheryl says, you would think he would mention killing a fascist. That's the type of vernacular. That's the tone that I would expect. I got him. I killed that fascist. Fuck him. Like you would think that tone is a little more informal. Like, I'm not saying that he was all with it, to respond to Cat's comment. I'm not saying he was all there and, like, but just the tone of his sentences are like, where art thou, heart ponder? Like, what in the Shakespeare am I reading here? Like, it really sounds like a boomer wrote these things, not some kid in college, especially because, again, you would think that somebody that's using this type of vernacular and cadence and the wording, like, it just, you would think that they were someone that was, more of a old, not in touch with the world sort of reality. But, like, if you're dating somebody that's trans, you're off at college, you're young, you're considering yourself very liberal and progressive, and you're calling Charlie a fascist, and, like, in that sense, like, this rhetoric doesn't align with what I would imagine the shooter would be thinking. Also, when you just do this, isn't there like some sort of adrenaline that's running through your body? Like, something about these text messages just feels off. Something about the story feels off, and the man and the jumping, and he acted alone, and, like, and he's putting all of these details into text messages that he's basically giving to my love. And what is my love supposed to do with all of this? It now incriminates my love. I guess this is the witness tampering. Yeah, Mishy Squishy says, yeah, initial report said that he was going to self-delete, but his dad talked him into turning himself in. Yeah, I don't know. Gen Z thinks they are boomers. Do they? Delete this exchange, right? People believe Candace, these texts are BS. Yeah, I think these texts are total BS. This just feels a little... Listen, here's the thing. We're never going to get all the details about Epstein. We're never going to get all the details about MLK. We're never going to get all the details about JFK. We're never going to get all the details about 9/11. Like, all of these big, shocking events in American history were fed a story, but it's not the full story. Like, there are so many pieces that I think what they try to do is put together a convenient narrative that seems believable that they can sell us on without actually giving us the whole truth. And I think that's what we're getting with Tyler Robinson. We're never going to know what happened to Charlie Kirk. Maybe we will if enough people fight against it. But I mean, look at how many people are fighting for Epstein. And we're not even getting a whole lot of that. I mean, we did get a lot of names. I believe it was last week during all of this Charlie Kirk mess. There were a number of names that were released from Ghislaine Maxwell. None of that was really covered in the media. Shockingly, surprise. But I just think we're never going to know who did this. I know there are a number of... I saw Femme Tarot this morning. She posted a clip on her Instagram where she says that she believes it was more than just the one shooter. There were potentially two shooters. She, from what she saw in her readings, saw 3 people, I believe, and there was someone specific in like a white t-shirt and like a blue or green hat that was also kind of involved, and he may have been the one to pull the shot. I don't know. A number of like the TikTok psychics and the mediums and all that, they're all giving messages. And so far, the conclusion that everybody seems to come to is that the story is much bigger than the story we're being told. And these text messages, I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. These text messages are total bullshit. Total bullshit. This narrative just doesn't add up and it doesn't make sense. Yeah. Kennedy, King, Kirk, 3Ks. And well, I mean, there are a number of people that have been assassinated. Stephanie Barrett says, isn't he from a Mormon family? Parents are conservative, so he could have grown up with an older style of language through the faith and the community and conservatism before recently turning to the left. Maybe, but I mean, even then, you still have some sort of slang from just... I don't know. Bone says they clearly haven't been watching all these trials. Texts are subpoenaed and most easily to access. Yeah. I totally believe the person asking the questions was involved. Possibly. I mean, and that could have been another thing, that maybe these were fabricated to protect somebody else. What's wrong with the old man saying he did it? Distraction. What's up with the old man saying he did it? A distraction. Yeah, that was weird too. The old man that was arrested, he was just like, I forgot, I don't remember what he was saying, but I remember they had him and they pinned him down and they'd arrested the old man at the college campus, and everybody thought that he was the one that did it. These texts are low budget, try harder, right? Thank you, Michelle. We haven't said low budget tea in a minute. We're going to file these text messages under low budget tea, as well as Blake Lively's text messages that she presented from the Wayfair parties about the website. All of this, like the text messages for today, we're just going to file them all under low budget tea. I like your critical thinking, Zack. Well, yeah, listen, I always keep it 100. I know people don't like when they think some of my ideas lean a little more conservative or lean a little more to the right, but I'm willing to call low budget tea, and call people out and give credit where credit is due. So, you know, Discord members knew it's coordinated. That's right. They had the Discord messages with the other people that were all discussing this. Again, I don't think we're ever going to know what happened. I don't think we're ever going to get clear answers. And if we do, it's not going to be anytime soon. Or if it's going to happen, it's going to take. I mean, look at Candace Owens. She's like a juggernaut right now. And she's like, I'm coming for you. She's doing, or what? She's like really going hard and saying that, she's ready for people to start being honest. She's going to start outing people if she needs to be because she wants them to be honest about their relationships with Charlie in the end and pressure that Charlie was allegedly under. I don't know. There's so much to it. Yeah. The shooter had to be a professional. I mean, here's the thing, even if Tyler is familiar with being on the range, which I think was part of the narrative that we were told, is his family was conservative, his family was MAGA, they all loved guns. So it's possible that he's been to the shooting range. He's possibly got a good shot, but that good of a shot, you're 200 feet away, and you happen to get him right in the neck. Like, it was just something about it. I don't know. I'm starting to question the entire narrative. I don't know what to believe. I'm not trying to put out conspiracy theories. I'm just saying I don't know what to believe. But my sentiment of last week is that somebody was murdered. I believe that there was a political undertone to it. I believe that the rhetoric that was put out by the media absolutely exacerbated it to a point where someone like Tyler felt compelled enough to either go along with somebody else's plan or help orchestrate this plan or whatever it is. Everything that I said last week, I stand by, especially the lack of empathy part and the needing to come together part. Like, all of that message is still very much the same. So, but in terms of what actually happened and what the details are of this situation, I don't think we're ever going to know that. I just don't. Unfortunately, that's just the culture we're in right now, where the government's just going to be as, hush hush about this as they can be. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But hit the like button, guys. Hit the subscribe button and stay tuned because there's going to be a lot more tea to be spilled this week. I love you. I appreciate you. Big announcement tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Give me a follow, Just Plain Zack. Follow the podcast at No Filter with Zack, and be sure to leave an Apple Podcast review if you listen to the show on Apple Podcasts and you're enjoying it. All right, guys, I love you. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Be sure to subscribe and hit the like button on your way out. Ciao for now. Catch me on Juicy Scoop this week. I believe the episode drops on Thursday. All right, guys. Bye.